Hi and welcome to part 6 of developing bass drum control. If you're watching this in YouTube, you might want to check it out on my blog. There's a link in the video description under this video, and there you'll find the other videos in the series and links and text to support this lesson. Today what we're going to do is take a kind of warm-up exercise that I know for single strokes with the hands, and we're going to apply that to the right hand and the right foot. So basically it's a 4-bar exercise. The first 2 bars are the same, and they are half a bar of 8th notes, so 1 and 2 and then half a bar of 16th notes, 3 and a 4 and then you do that again. And then bar 3 is all 8th notes and bar 4 is all 16th notes. So it sounds like this. So what we're going to do is play that between the bass drum and the right hand. And you want to do this right hand and left hand lead. So that means we're going to lead with the bass drum and we're going to lead with the right hand. So let's start off by leading with the bass drum. And that might be a little bit tricky because your right hand in the fast part is going to be playing all the offbeat 16th notes, which is a tricky thing to do. Okay, so as I've said in the other videos, these are like the first kind of times I'm playing these exercises. So this is an example of what it should sound like when you start, not when you finish. So you really want to work on these until you can play them as accurately with your hand and your foot as you can just with your hands. And it's not easy actually to play that exercise left hand lead on the snare drum. So some of the things that I do to try and get more comfortable with it are to see what each limb is doing individually. So for the bass drum part, that's not too difficult because you're just playing 1 and 2 and, well, to start off with, you're playing 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and if you play it double tempo, you're playing 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. So you want to work on the foot part just by itself. And then the hand part is a little bit more difficult because by itself, it's hard to do. It's not something that we do a lot. So I'm going to start off by playing that with the hands. I'm going to leave the click off for a second just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to change the tempo, play it a little bit slower. And I'm going to start with the left hand on the snare drum. So because it's the right foot's leading, the right hand's on the offbeat. So I'm replacing the bass drum with the left hand for the example of this. And then I'm going to take the snare drum out and you can see what this is doing. And I'm also going to play the hi-hat just so you can hear where the pulse is. So this is one of the exercises that I really like to do, because placing those offbeat 16ths or 30 seconds or whatever it is a really useful thing, because when you're playing the rudiment or this exercise on a snare drum, you're not just filling in, you're not just lining up the limb that's on the beat and filling in the gaps. You can place those notes in the middle as well, and you get used to how that sounds. And you can start to put that into grooves, and it sounds pretty cool. So that's just being familiar with what it feels like and sounds like to play those offbeat 16ths. Another thing you can do is actually program in what they sound like in polynome. So we're going to put in a 4 and then an 8 and then a 4 and then an 8 and then 4, 4, 8, 8. That's basically what the pattern is. I'm going to take the tempo up. Okay. So that's what we're playing. Now what we can do is give ourselves a click, a cowbell click that marks the quarter note. In fact, let me mark that as a rate of 2. Oops. So now we have this. Okay. And then what you can do is, in the count settings, you can actually say play this as a single stroke roll. And then what we can do is mute the volume of the left hand. So we can bring the left hand down. So that's what the right hand's playing. You want to hear the offbeat part. You bring this down. So just kind of walking around with that playing in your ears and singing and getting used to what that sounds like is a useful way to get more comfortable with this pattern and with being able to place those offbeat 16ths. So basically you just want to work on that between your bass drum and your right hand until you get comfortable with it, and then do the opposite. So lead with your right hand, put the bass drum on the offbeats. And those few exercises and working on just the right hand part and the right foot part and the left hand part and all that, that should keep you going for a while. Feel free to do it, use your left hand and your left foot or other crossover variations. And that's it for this lesson. See you in part 7.